there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman, and Trent Hoffman's not here, unfortunately, but it's Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 52. Today we're going to be talking about first volume of Star Wars microseries, The Clone Wars. Unfortunately, Trent couldn't join me today, but it's just going to be me. But we've had a lot of cool stuff happening. One of the most recent things was Wrestlemania. Yes, that's right, brothers and sisters. Wrestlemania 37 came on. It was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed seeing wrestling in front of a live audience finally. So it was in Tampa Bay, and it was actually 2 nights. So it was April 10th and April 11th, and it was in Tampa, Florida at the Buccaneer Stadium. And of course, leave it to WrestleMania. Huge thunderstorm, and it delayed night one, but yeah, it was pretty good. Night one featured a bunch of different matches, and the first one was Bobby Lashley, who was accompanied by MVP, defended the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. Trent and I were going for Drew, but Lashley locked it in with McIntyre, and he kind of passed out. So Bobby Lashley won. Tag team turmoil match was there was a bunch of different mixed, it was women tag team, and they were fighting for a chance at night 2 against the women's tag team champions, and that was Nia Jax and Shania Baszler. So it was Lana and Naomi, Billie Kay and Camila, and then Riot Squad, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott, and then Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. It went kind of back and forth. It was pretty good. I liked it. And Natalya and Tamina won, which was cool because they kind of have the legacies of Bret the Hitman Hart and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. So they're related to them. So it's pretty cool. Then we had Cesaro facing against Seth Rollins, and Cesaro had a lot of pop. Let me tell you, he was definitely a crowd favorite, and did a couple times the Cesaro swing, and got I think it was a total of like 22 swings around. That's one of Cesaro's kind of moves, but yeah, Cesaro performed and got the win over Rollins, which was kind of cool. The fourth match was New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Of course, they were introduced by Big E, but he didn't wrestle. It was just Kofi and Xavier. They were defending the Raw Tag Team championships against AJ Styles and I want to say it's Omos. I think that's how you say it. This dude's huge, man. He is been tied around as AJ's bodyguard, and it was pretty awesome. They totally, actually AJ and Omos like totally dominated, and they won tag team championships. Next was Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. Strowman is looking slim and looking awesome, and this was a great match, especially in a steel cage. They both got their spots, but at the end, Strowman performed like this running power slam thingy bobber and got McMahon and took it to McMahon, so he won. That was cool. And then let's see, what else was there? There was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest faced The Miz and John Morrison. Dude, Bad Bunny, who is a rapper, singer, I don't know much about him. He's just, I know that he's a singer. He was landed some pretty cool wrestling moves. It was awesome. I was really impressed by his performance. And at the end, Bad Bunny and Priest did it, and they pinned Miz, which was fantastic. And then the main event, which was probably my favorite match out of both nights, it was Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. And dude, this was going back and forth. Oh my gosh, it was so cool, so awesome to watch. And yeah, it was a cool moment just to watch these ladies fight. And essentially Bianca won, and it was pretty amazing, which was kind of cool. They showed a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but essentially, Sasha's trying to sell that she's still injured, but she's smiling as Bianca won, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it was a very special night. Night 2, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Randy Orton faces The Fiend. Randy Orton did his thing. We didn't watch this match because The Fiend is kind of scary with his masks and all that stuff, and so we didn't watch this one, but essentially Randy Orton RKO'd The Fiend. That's all you need to know. The next one, okay, so now Nia Jax and Shania Baszler are defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Natalya and Tamia. That they won the first night. Yeah, Jackson Blazer just took it, man. It was pretty straightforward. Okay, so now this one was kind of a gimmick match. We had Sami Zayn took on Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn had Logan Paul ringside. Not much going on here. I'm a big Kevin Owens fan, and I thought he pretty much dominated and did his thing, and Owens won, which was great. And then but then Logan Paul's like, oh, okay, I really like you, Kevin Owens. But then Kevin Owens gave him a stunner, which was fantastic. We had fourth match of the night was Riddle defending the United States Championship against Sheamus. Actually, Sheamus took it to Riddle and got the title, which was awesome. And then we had Big E defending the Intercontinental Champions against Apollo Crews. Yeah, this one was interesting. These guys are two big men, but actually I was really surprised by the outcome because I believe Big E is from Florida. And so I was like, oh, he's going to totally get the win. But he doesn't. Crews won the title. Yeah, that's whatever. But Ahsoka, I see. I want to say Ahsoka, but it's Asuka, defending the Raw Women's Champions against Rhea Ripley. This was going back and forth, but Ripley won, which was awesome. This was a cool match. And then the main event of WrestleMania, the two nights, Roman Reigns, obviously accompanied by Paul Heyman and Jey Uso, defending the Universal Championship against Edge and Daniel Bryan. That's right, triple threat match. This was going back and forth, obviously, because it's a triple threat match. I was totally pulling for Edge. I wanted Edge to win, but it didn't happen, and Roman laid the smacketh down and took out them, and it was crazy. So yeah, it was something else, man. So we were watching that, and yeah, let's just say it was a little crazy. So we just, it was pretty interesting. Let's just say it was pretty much interesting little couple matches for night 2, but I mean, Roman Reigns, basically they have set him up to be this, like, they're turning him into like this ultimate heel, which I kind of like, which is great. So we shall see how that pans out. But yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting what they are going to do with Roman, which I'm pretty interested in, and seeing where that's gonna happen, and how they're going to handle Roman. So yeah, it should be pretty cool going forward. But it was a good WrestleMania. I couldn't complain. I really, like I said, I like the Sasha Banks and Bianca match, and I think that was probably my favorite. But there was a lot of cool things to like about this, but yeah, it was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so what do we got next? Let's see. So that was WrestleMania. Still playing some Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed, and Wreckfest. Trent and I caught up on all the Winter Soldiers. We are getting to the final, which is crazy, crazy, crazy. That is going to be this Friday is the last and final episode of the series, I guess. So I think the last time we got together here, so we watched 3, 4, and 5. 5 culminating at really some, I would say, some really strong, messages about what's going on currently in America and everything. And I thought they handled it very, very well. It was a very intelligent and thought-provoking episode, but also kind of in the superhero realm. So I really did enjoy that. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but essentially, it was just a really well done episode. I'm looking forward to episode 6. Should be interesting to see where it goes, and I'm really, really intrigued as far as like how this is going to fit into this kind of phase 4 of Marvel. After Thanos has died, obviously, I'm really interested to see who that big bad is. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot in play here. But as far as the second series on Disney Plus, that's Marvel. I mean, it's another one that's just, WandaVision was quirky and had his own unique thing. But I really do enjoy what they're doing here in Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm not too sure on the bad guys, really. They're called the Flag Smashers. I'm not really sure about them. I kind of understand why they're doing it, so it almost makes it like they're not the bad guys, but they are the bad guys. Classic kind of Wreck-It Ralph thing, like, you're kind of bad, but not, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not a bad guy, so I don't know. It should be interesting. I am really looking forward to see what happens and what they're going to drop to kind of tease us into whatever that next series is, if that's going to tie to Loki or if it's going to tie to a bigger Marvel picture. That's what I'm really interested to see. But yeah, I'm having a little hard time with the Flag Smashers, just the fact that they are, I know they're bad guys, but I don't really see them as a real bad guy threat. But yeah, huge kind of reveal for Marvel fans and comic book fans with Madam Hydra. But yeah, we should see how this pans out. I'm excited for that. All right, now on to our main topic tonight or today or whenever you're going to listen to this podcast. We are talking about the original Clone Wars, the micro series by Gendy Travesky. Jeez, I can't even talk. But this is one of the vintage collections now on Disney Plus. Trent and I watched it. Unfortunately, with schedules and everything like that, we couldn't do it. But yes, Gendy Tartakovsky. He is the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack. I love those shows. I was definitely full-blown Samurai Jack fan. I mean, I enjoyed Dexter's Laboratory, but yeah, Samurai Jack is like my jam. And so I was super stoked when this first aired, and it's been a minute. Let's just say it's been a while since I've seen it. And so it's kind of cool kind of going back to this and seeing how this plays out. So we watched volume 1. So that is chapter 1 through chapter 20. It's very similar to how they released it on the DVD. So that's how they split it up. And if you're not really familiar where this came from, what was really interesting about this series is that not only is it telling, it's bridging between Attack of the Clones and Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, but the way they released this was like kind of bizarre. It was almost, they called it micro series, and essentially it's like a commercial break. What they did is they essentially launched these micro series in between two shows. That's it. It was like 2 to 3 minutes. Um, and yeah, it's just really amazing what they can do in the 2 to 3 minutes. Um, it's a fun way of showing animation and a fun way of storytelling. And, when you get to kind of these like 8 minute episodes, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, but yeah, it kind of sets up Revenge of the Sith, which is very interesting. And this was their first foray before the Clone Wars. This was the micro series, and again, I believe this was released sometime in 2003. I think that's when it was. It was altogether, it was 2003 to 2012, 2005, essentially giving us a little glimpse of bridging that gap between the two movies, which was interesting. But yeah, I just really like how they use these kind of commercial breaks to do it. So pretty interesting. So we're gonna just blast through some of these volume ones, and technically they're in 3 seasons. How they aired, and it was like 10, 10, and then 5. So the first season 1 was 10 episodes, and that aired basically in November of 2003. And then two more, season 2 was 10 more episodes. That was 2004, or March to April of 2004. And then finally, there was only 5 episodes in season 3, and that was March 22nd to, it was really 4 days, March 22nd to March 26th of 2005. So just 5 episodes. So it was like literally a week, and then it was done. So very, very interesting. So essentially, I'm just going to blast through, use a guide here on old Wikipedia, just kind of go through them real quick. But essentially what you have is these chapters, and we get to kind of see again Anakin and Obi-Wan interact in after Attack of the Clones. So first one is directly following the Battle of Geonosis, and Obi-Wan is taking the lead on assault on Molist. See, this is where I get stuck on these Star Wars names. I'm not very good at them. If I hear them, I can say them, but when I read them, sometimes I just butcher them. So it's like Moonalist? I don't know. So they are preparing an attack, and then essentially Anakin is like, I'm out of here, and says bye to Padme, and that's it. So it's like essentially loading up, similar to a kind of a Attack of the Clones at the end. They're just loading up all the clones. They get ready to go, and you see a huge fleet getting ready and prepared to go to battle. Um, this time we get to see the ARC Troopers. Now, ARC Troopers, if you're not familiar, in Chapter 2, ARC Troopers are clone troopers that have a unique look, and they're very similar to, they've been hand trained by Jango Fett. That's the thing about ARC Troopers. And so they're specialized above the regular clone troopers, and they got a kind of cool look. They wear, I think that's called a Chimera or a kimono, or anyways, they almost have like a cape-ish around their waist, and they have a cool antenna, just like Jango and Boba. So essentially, they get shot down over this the banking clan's planet. Moonalist? Gosh, I don't know. It's super cool. This is where the clones are not even talking. They're just doing a lot of military tactics, and they're starting to take out the bankers and the battle droids. Battle droids shoots on the ship. As the main kind of fleet goes to this one area, they kind of go backdoor to try to sneak in because there's a huge cannon kind of blowing up the ships, and so they're trying to take that out. There's just a lot of cool Star Wars bits in here. There's one little bit where there's like a lizard thing, and it's just a little creature, and the ARC troopers kind of shoot at it and squirts away. This one I really love because it's like I said, it's just clone troopers pointing and doing things and actually killing people. And he's got this cool, it almost looks like a training remote, but he throws it up and it gives like this 3D picture of, it's kind of like a probe droid where it gives a 3D picture of the city. I don't know. There's just cool little beats in this one. This is one of my favorites. Uh, so then chapter 3, they're pinned down by enemy fire. They must use, they kind of get to the target, which is cool. And then at the end, they're like on top of the cannon. They made the cannon. Like, yeah, we did it. Chapter 4, there's Rage in Space, and this is our first glimpse of Dirge. If you're not familiar with Dirge, he's this huge bounty hunter looking thing. He's actually got like a Mandalorian kind of crest, a mythosaur crest on his chest. And he has IG Lancer droids. Yes, that's right. IG, our favorite IGs from Mandalorian and Empire. They make an appearance here, and it's pretty cool. Then chapter 5, we get Mon Calamari, Kit Fistu, and Scuba Troopers defend Calamari, and they go after Quarians. Again, Quarians are the squid-like people. Mon Calamari obviously are the Admiral Akbar kind of species, but Quarians were featured in season 2 of Mandalorian, and here they are, and we get to see Kit Fistu in action, and it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of cool battles, and essentially kind of like this large crab-like laser, and Kit Fistu uses the force and makes these force bubbles, and it sounds weird, but it works, and they take out the big old cannon. Chapter 6, Count Dooku. Yes, the Count. I really like this Count Dooku version. He's very stoic. I don't know. I just love him. Count Dooku arrives at Rat-a-Tech, or to win this. Basically, this is a gladiator. Pretty awesome. But it's actually the person that meets him is kind of like this cat person or something, and he's like, hey, sit down and watch all these people fight. And this is just like fight. Very gladiator, but it's actually Asia. She hides her disguise. Then she takes out all these bad guys, including a Wampa, and then they meet the Emperor, which is pretty cool. Dooku submits Asia to like a test. They have this fighting test in chapter 7, and she eventually gets these curved blades for her lightsabers because she was using, I think it was like blue and green or something, and she was using a two-saber style, but then she gets these curved hilts very similar to Dooku's lightsabers. Super cool episode, and basically Count Dooku's like, yo, we gotta go get Anakin. So that's her mission. All right, chapter 8, we go back to Mullis or whatever that planet is, where the Banky clan is, and Kenobi and troops are trying to infiltrate the Banky clan, and Dirge and the IG Lancer droids show up with their big old, I don't know, joust. It's like speeder bike jousting, and they're just killing everybody. Boom, 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 and Dirge is like, roar. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So they take out and basically help the intergalactic banking clan. Chapter 9, Kenobi and the ARC troopers capture the banking clan's headquarters, but Dirge remains in pursuit. Yeah, this one is it's one of my favorite. I like chapter 8 because chapter 8, Obi-Wan and Dirge kind of fight, and at the end, Dirge loses, and he kind of cuts him in half. But then we find out that Dirge can regenerate. And in chapter 9, he goes after this. This is pretty awesome. Dirge is taking out all the clone troopers. He's like almost like this ball of yarn in a sense, and it's just over the top and it's fantastic. And then essentially Dirge sucks in Obi-Wan and he's inside Dirge, and then Obi-Wan uses the Force and blows him up. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I like this one. Chapter 10, Anakin proves himself as the best starfighter in the galaxy. He's battling Geonosian fighters over. So Anakin's like running the space battle of it, and there's just this really cool scene where he tells the troopers, "Hey, fire over this bow of the Star Destroyer," or whatever it is. It's not really a Star Destroyer, but it's like a capital ship. And Anakin like flies over, and one missile kind of squeaks through, and a couple do, but then he shoots over, and then all the Geonosians kind of fly up into this missile barrage. That's a really cool scene, and Anakin is pretty awesome. All right, so that's the first chapter. Those are the first 10 chapters. Again, that was kind of season 1. Season 2 was in 2004, but again, is included in the DVD as volume 1, and then on Disney Plus as volume 1. All right, so Chapter 11, Anakin essentially chases a rogue pilot. They have this kind of battle. Asia's vehicle, I think it's called a Genosian Fanblade Starfighter. It's kind of cool. And she basically baits him to go into hyperspace and chase after her. And it's funny, there's one little bit where they're facing each other, and he's like, "I have you now." And I never noticed that until now, or maybe I did back then. It's been so long, but I'm like, "Oh, that's what he says to Luke. Oh, this is awesome." So anyways, they go and they travel, and Obi-Wan's mad that it's like Anakin is chasing after Asia, and like, "What are you doing down here? You should be up there with your troops," and all this stuff. And it's just fun. Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of show that same kind of love-hate relationship. It's like, "Why are you constantly disobeying me?" And then Anakin's like, "I gotta go," and then he jumps. Okay. This one is the Mace Windu episode, chapter 12. Mace Windu basically takes on this is where I like where the micro series is just like their Jedi are superhero. But he takes out the whole Separatist army. There's these cool. Okay, so if you're into comics, you got to read Dark Empire. Dark Empire has these Devastators, I think they're called, where they're like these huge kind of ships, and they just like throw fire on the ground, and they're just ginormous. And the same kind of design is here, but this one is this big, I would say it's like a thumper thing, where it's like this huge like thump, and it does this huge impact in the ground and causes these waves. And yeah, he's on Tatooine. That is where Princess Leia said, "Yes, the Rebel base on Tatooine." Well, they weren't there when the Empire checked it out, but they were here in the Clone Wars. And essentially, Mace takes out the whole army, and there's this little boy with a floppy hat, kind of like Luke, watching on, and it is amazing. And then at the end, little boy gives him some water. This is one of my favorite episodes too. I love Mace. Love seeing Mace in action. It's pretty dope. Okay. Ooh, what's the next one? Chapter 13. No, that was, yeah. Yep. Okay, so it's chapter 13. Having lost his lightsaber, Master Windu must take a battalion of super battle droids hand to hand. Oh, that's right. So the first one is essentially Windu setting that up, and then chapter 13, he takes on the whole thing. So it's a combo. I forget. These are only 2 minutes long, so there's a lot to unpack, but there you go. Chapter 14. Okay. This is our first introduction to Ilum. And Ilum is where there's kyber crystals there. And we also see this in Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, the planet of Ilum is visited by Cal Kestis, and this is where we see Luminar and Maurice Ophi, her Padawan, visit this planet, and she's teaching, she's getting her Kyber Crystal, Baris, and as soon as they do, there's these droids, and they try to blow them up. Ugh, it's horrible. They kind of blow them up, and they're stuck. So, chapter 15 is Master Yoda is actually traveling with Padme Amidala, and Captain Typho's like, essentially, Yoda feels this in the Force and says, "Hey, Captain Typho, we gotta go to Ilum." And Captain Typho's like, "No," but then Yoda uses a Jedi mind trick, and of course, Padme agrees. Um, this one's kind of cool. Chapter 16, we get Padme in a kind of a snow princess outfit, similar to our Leia princess outfit, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it is a fun little bit of C-3PO. C-3PO is not gold on this, and she uses C-3PO as a decoy to pull out these kind of chameleon spider droids. I don't know what you call them, but it is super, super fun. And so they do that, and Padme actually helps out. And then we're back, and does Yoda? Yes, Yoda shows up at the end, and they've rescued Luminari and Baris Ophi. No sex. Chapter 17. Yes. So they go to Yavin 4, of all places, and Obi-Wan does not trust Anakin and sends a clone troopers with them, and Asia just takes them out. This is it's kind of like Predator. That's pretty much, if you watch Predator, then this is pretty much it. Asia literally takes out all the clones. And it's kind of scary, like, hey, what's happening? They don't see her. So they kind of, they don't kind of, they do. They fight on these temples. It just makes a very great background. They're in the jungle, Yavin 4, battling. There's this cool moon. It's like boom, 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 boom. So they're battling there. And these are called, I think they're called Massa Icy. Am I saying that right? Masai. See, this is where I get it. It's MASSASSI. Star Wars, why do you have these weird names? But they do. And if you're into the EU, this is where XR Khan was. He trapped his dark side essence into these temples, and there's a whole other subplot with that, and all that kind of stuff. But that is for the EU. We're talking about canon. Well, this is not even canon, but it's still kind of EU. Anyways, they have this cool battle on the temple. Chapter 19. This is where Anakin, I don't know if they show this part where he gets his scar, but Asia is the one that gives him his scar. I don't know if that was the comics or here. I can't remember, but essentially they fight it out, but Anakin is real close to the dark side, and it's like, and there's kind of cool flashback where he sees kind of all these different masters, but he's like, bah, 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 and he's like screams in the air, and Asia kind of falls to her death. And then back to 20. Okay, chapter 20. This is the longest episode so far. We get our Shaggy Jedi. We get, okay. They won the battle. Fantastic. And Obi-Wan gets a message from this other planet saying, hey, we're pinned down. And so there's like this Republic cruiser that's like all torn down, and now there's a huge droid army, and then we get to see, this is the debut of General Grievous. Yes, the coughing General Grievous does not exist in this film. He is, or picture or cartoon or whatever you talk about, but he is pretty awesome in this. And essentially, everyone's sweating. They're scared, and Kaya Mundai's like, yo, you got to slow down. So we got Kaya Mundai, Shakti, Ayla Sakura, kind of three kind of fan favorites. Then, okay, here's the thing. It's the weird names. Karuk, Terasi, and then, yes, one of them is Shaggy, like Shaggy. I think this guy's Shaggy Jedi. But anyways, they fight it off, and it just John Grievous is just kicking their tail, and that's how it ends. That's it. Volume 1 leaves it really with a cliffhanger. I thought, again, it was really cool to kind of revisit all the story is obviously a little different than what the canon is now, but I just love it. It was, I remember seeing it back when In Between, and it was everything I wanted and more. And seeing the Clone Wars now, obviously the animation or the CGI ones are great. They're fantastic. But this one holds a special place in my heart. Trent, I know we've watched this together before, but he was like, oh yeah, I do kind of remember this. So it was fun watching it with Trent, and yeah, I think we really enjoyed. It was just fun watching it in a different way, and it's cool that again we have an opportunity to see that on Disney Plus now. You can check it out anytime. So yeah, again, I really like the Mesa episode. I actually really like the Kit Fisto episode because it's in water. It's kind of cool. And I do like this kind of epic showdown with General Grievous. But I think my all-time favorite one is when the clone troopers are pinned down and they just like do their thing, and it's so good. So good. Gendy is amazing at animation. It is really, this one's, to me, is like a masterclass in how to tell a story. Very little dialogue, but great animation. And Gendy pulls it off, and you still get the Star Wars feels. I think that's a really testament to how tight these stories are, but also kind of exploring the lore a little bit more. So yeah, they're a gem. I would highly recommend it. So yeah, we did, that was volume 1. So definitely check that out on the Diz Plus. All right, well, that's a wrap, guys, for this show. I want to thank again all our Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. Thanks again for listening to another episode 52. I can't believe it. We're at 52. That is awesome. Hey, you can find us on the socials. That's Big T Little T Podcast Instagram, BLILT Podcast on Twitter, and soon to be, hopefully soon, twitch.tv forward slash Big T Little T is on Twitch. I had to get a new computer. These are things. So hopefully my old laptop couldn't handle the power. It can't handle the power of what I needed to do. So got a new laptop, and hopefully soon we'll back to doing some streams. So we're super excited about that and looking forward to making that happen. What else? Oh, we got stickers. Yes, we want to hear from you. So you can email us at bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com. If you comment, rate, or tweet us, or rate us, or tweet us, or whatever, rate us on Apple Podcast. Or if you want to drop us a question, we will definitely answer that and send you a sticker. In 2 weeks, guess what's happened in 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks. We have May the 4th. And you know what comes out? Bad Batch. So we will definitely be covering that. We're going to try to squeeze in one more episode, hopefully before May the 4th. But we are super excited for Bad Batch. So I think we'll be returning to a weekly format for a little bit. We have to cover Bad Batch, and so we're super excited for that. And we can't wait to discuss that with everyone. I think that's it. It's weird doing this sometimes by myself. I wish Little T was here, but he wishes you all well. And there's only one way to end this. Truly wonderful, the mind of the child is. And as we always say, may the force be with you always. Bye.